Let me describe a very common scene inside early stage startup. You walk into a marketing meeting and someone opens a slide titled, "Meet our ideal customer." And on that slide, you see a fictional character, a nice stock photo, a catchy name, something like Startup Steve. The slide proudly tells you everything about Steve. Steve is 32 years old. He lives in a trendy neighborhood in a big tech city. He drinks artisanal cold brew coffee. He shops organic at Whole Foods. He reads TechCrunch every morning. He listens to productivity podcasts on his commute. Founders and marketing teams will spend weeks debating this. Is Steve 32 or 35? Does he prefer LinkedIn or Instagram? Does he own a dog? Then they design beautiful slides and base their entire product strategy on this fictional character. And here's the brutal truth. This entire exercise is mostly useless because demographics don't buy products, situations do. Think about it. Nobody buys software because they are 32 years old. Nobody buys a tool because they drink cold brew coffee. People buy products because something painful just happened. Maybe their server crashed during a huge sale. Maybe their boss just yelled at them in a meeting. Maybe they spent the entire weekend fixing a spreadsheet disaster. Those moments create real buying intent. And if your marketing ignores those situations, your messaging will always miss the mark. Let me show you why traditional personas fail. First, they rely too heavily on demographics. Age, gender, income, location. These things describe who someone is. But they do not explain why someone pulls out their credit card at 2 a.m. to buy your software. Here's a funny example. King Charles III and Ozzy Osbourne actually share almost identical demographics. Both are British, both were born in 1948, both are extremely wealthy, both are famous. But do you think the same marketing message would work on both of them? Of course not. Because demographics alone tell you almost nothing about buying behavior. The second problem with personas is they assume causation from correlation. Let's say your best customer reads tech blogs. That doesn't mean reading tech blogs makes someone want your product. Maybe your customer also drinks coffee. That doesn't mean coffee drinkers are your market. When founders focus on these details, they end up targeting noise instead of signal. The third problem is even worse. Personas create massive blind spots. Imagine your company only targets Startup Steve, so your ads only target young founders. Your messaging is full of startup language. But what if your biggest potential customer is actually a 55-year-old CFO at a large company? She doesn't drink cold brew. She doesn't listen to productivity podcasts. But she desperately needs your software. If your marketing ignores her, you lose the deal. Just because she didn't fit your fictional persona. So if demographics aren't enough, what should founders focus on instead? To understand this, you need to look at the hierarchy of customer data. There are 3 levels, and not all of them are equally useful. The first level is demographics. This is the weakest signal. Age, gender, location, income. Demographics are useful for filtering your audience. For example, if you sell a $50,000 enterprise security tool, you can safely ignore college students. But demographics should never drive your messaging. They simply tell you who can afford your product, not who actually needs it. The second level is psychographics. This is about values and beliefs. What kind of mindset your customer has? Do they value speed and disruption or stability and security? For example, someone who values innovation might buy a flashy electric car like a Tesla. Someone who values safety and reliability might choose a Volvo. Both buyers might earn the same salary, but their worldview shapes their decision. Psychographics help define your brand voice. But even this is not the most powerful signal. The strongest signal is something else entirely: situations, or what we call trigger events. A trigger event is a moment when a problem becomes so painful, the person finally decides to solve it. People rarely wake up and say, "Today feels like a great day to buy enterprise software." Something happens first, a mistake, a failure, a crisis, and suddenly they start searching for a solution. Let's say you sell server monitoring software. Nobody buys it because they enjoy dashboards. They buy it because their website crashed during Black Friday. Their boss yelled at them. Customers were angry, revenue was lost, and now they never want that nightmare to happen again. That moment creates buying intent. And if your marketing speaks directly to that situation, it will resonate instantly. This is why modern startups need a different approach. Instead of creating fictional personas, you build what's called a 3-dimensional ICP. An ICP is an ideal customer profile. But the powerful version focuses on 3 dimensions. The first dimension is jobs to be done. This idea became famous through Harvard professor Clayton Christensen. The concept is simple. Customers don't buy products. They hire products to do a job. For example, nobody buys a drill because they love drills. They buy it because they need a hole in the wall. Your product works the same way. People don't buy an AI writing tool because they love AI. They buy it because they want to finish work faster, or impress their boss, or avoid embarrassing mistakes. Your product's features are not the job. The outcome is the job. The second dimension is the trigger event. When exactly does someone realize they need your product? For example, imagine you sell HR onboarding software. The trigger event might be when a company hires its 15th employee. Suddenly spreadsheets stop working, payroll becomes complicated, compliance becomes scary, and now the company needs a real system. That's when they search for a solution, not before. The third dimension is the status quo enemy. Every product replaces something. Maybe a legacy system like Salesforce, maybe a giant enterprise tool like Oracle, or maybe something simple like a messy Google Sheet. Your messaging should attack that enemy directly. If you replace enterprise tools, emphasize simplicity. If you replace spreadsheets, emphasize reliability and automation. Knowing your enemy helps you position your product clearly. So instead of building a persona like Startup Steve, your ICP should answer 4 real questions. Who can actually pay you? What painful problem do they have? What event triggers the search? And who inside the company approves the purchase? That's it. No fake hobbies, no fictional coffee preferences, just real business reality. And here's the most important part. Your ICP is not permanent. It's a hypothesis. The market will prove whether you're right or wrong. The best way to validate it is by talking to real customers. Ask them questions like, what happened the day you started searching for a solution? What were you doing before our product? Who else had to approve the purchase? These answers reveal the real buying journey. Often it's completely different from what founders expect. The biggest insight here is simple. Great marketing is not about clever slogans. It's about radical empathy. Understanding the exact moment your customer says, I cannot deal with this problem anymore. When your messaging speaks directly to that moment, your product suddenly becomes obvious. Your ads feel personal. Your sales conversations become easier, and your entire company becomes more focused. So the next time someone shows you a persona slide with a fictional character, remember this. Startups don't win by marketing to imaginary people. They win by solving real problems in real situations. Stop targeting Startup Steve. Start targeting the pain your customer is trying to escape. Because when you understand the situation, you understand the market.